Hello, my name is Duane Alves, and I want to show you that our American justice and law enforcement systems are broken. In this video, I will show you that the Barnstable Police Chief Paul McDonald and District Attorney Michael O'Keefe together are responsible for allowing their subordinates to protect federal DEA Agent John Daly from being charged with assault and battery. Agent Daly and several other law enforcement personnel were drunk and disorderly when they attacked me as I was working as a DJ in Hyannis, Mass. Please take the time to watch this video in its entirety, and if it outrages you as much as it does me, click on the link in the description of this video to sign my petition asking the Attorney General to #investigate Barnstable. Thank you for your time, and let's roll.
Only on Fox tonight, bones fractured, face bruised. This Cape Cod DJ says he was just trying to help some women out when he was attacked by a group of men he says should know better. He says they're all cops. Fox 25's Jared Holbrook is live in Barnstable with the story tonight. Jared?
Well, according to the man's attorney, the group of men responsible for the beating are either officers or agents attending a local law enforcement conference that happens once a year here on the Cape.
This conference had been going on for 13 years on Cape Cod. There are over 500 off-duty partying police officers running around the streets of Hyannis when this conference is taking place. The three officers that were of significance attending the conference were Federal DEA Agent John Daly, Somerville Police Officer Ariel Collazo, and Cambridge Police Officer Christopher Borum.
We've learned the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, and the Barnstable Police Department are both investigating.
Why is the DEA investigating, you ask? It's because while I was getting beat down on the ground by Federal DEA Agent John Daly, his phone fell from his hip. I immediately retrieved it and asked the venue to call the police. Also, there are the incriminating statements that John Daly made to the Barnstable Police Department. Daly went on to say that an altercation started as Borum returned, and then described it as a scrum, as in a rugby game. Daly stated that the scrum involved himself, Borum, Alves, and several other people.
A little shocked.
Dwayne Alves tells us he was jumped by 8 to 12 guys, and he believes most or all are members of law enforcement. Show me your injuries here.
Orbital bone right in here is fractured in two places, and my sinus on the right side is fractured in two places. A couple chipped teeth and swelling and multiple abrasions all over my body.
I also suffered permanent 30% peripheral vision loss, a deviated septum, 70% loss of feeling in my temple, a permanently disfigured cheek, and broken teeth were amongst my injuries. Dwayne
was DJing at the Steakhouse Sports Bar in Hyannis. He says some non-uniformed law enforcement officers or agents were drunk and disrespecting a group of women. When he said something, they jumped him.
Patron Stephanie Taylor's Barnstable Police narrative. Taylor reports that she was inside the bar when a group of men were trying to have an unwanted conversation with her. She stated that Alves came over to the group and attempted to help her by pulling her away. Taylor said that one of the men then slapped Alves' drink to the ground and an argument started between Alves and the group of men.
One guy was holding me down, stuck my head between his legs, and was just had me in a bear lock trying to squeeze his legs as hard as he could to get me down.
Patron Valeri police narrative. Valeri stated that a real big guy with huge legs then stepped over Alves and straddled him, pinning him to the floor. Valeri explained that the guy had stepped over Alves and now had Alves' head between his legs holding him.
They were kicking me, punching me.
Patron Stephanie Taylor's police narrative. Taylor reports that the group of men then jumped Alves and assaulted him by punching and kicking him.
A few racial slurs were said.
Patron Valeri's 2013 deposition. The witness. I didn't hear them say anything at that point. What I saw was other men coming in and a guy kept screaming, "I want my effing phone. That effing nigger has my effing phone."
Dwayne says bouncers were trying to help, but the group was blocking them.
They formed a field so the bouncers couldn't get to me to break it up.
Patron Valeri deposition. Valeri explained she observed that several more guys had moved in closer to the fight and appeared to be blocking the aisle. Valeri said it didn't seem like the doorman could get in to help break it up. You also have the other statements witnesses gave to the Barnstable Police Department that identify my attacker. Patron witness Laboa. He was wearing a blue long-sleeve shirt with plaid shorts. Suspect 2. Both Alves and Suspect 2 are at each other's face. Suspect 2 throws a punch, then his group of friends come running across the bar. All of a sudden, there was a pig pile, and Alves was at the bottom of it. Patron Valeri wore a white shirt and plaid shorts. Suspect Suspect 1. All of a sudden, Suspect 1 just punched Alves and then continued to push and punch him. Banned witness Watola. Suspect 2 was wearing a white shirt, plaid shorts, and sneakers. Suspect 2 then put his glass down and got right in Alves' face, nose to nose, and said something to Alves. Patron Cook. Suspect 1 got right up in Alves' face. Suspect 1 put his drink down, looked at his friends, and said, "It's fucking on." Cook stated that Suspect 1 grabbed Alves, and then the whole group of Suspect 1's friends jumped in and started punching and kicking Alves. Barback Taylor. Suspect 2 and Alves are nose to nose when the guy, Suspect 2, puts his drink down and says, "It's on." Taylor said that Suspect 2 grabbed Alves by the throat and started punching him. And finally, you have Haverhill Police Officer Matthew Woodman, who was good friends with John Daly and identifies him by name. Jack Daly walked over to the bar and started to argue with DJ Alves. Woodman stated that Daly and DJ Alves were face-to-face arguing when all of a sudden, Borum came back over to the bar. Woodman then said that everyone started pushing and shoving.
That was the first beating. Duane says things got worse when he later tried to leave. He says a group of about 30 officers blocked all the exits from the outside.
Patron Valeri's deposition. And I had gone outside to smoke a cigarette, and I went and I looked out over the balcony, and I saw that the place was surrounded by about 30 to 40 more police officers.
And each time he tried to take one, they hit him.
It's just shocking that it went on for so long.
Patron Laboa police narrative. I asked about how much time had gone by from the time of the first incident happened to when the police showed. She stated that it was definitely more than 30 minutes. Patron Valeri narrative. Valeri estimates that this whole incident lasted approximately 40 to 45 minutes. Banned witness Jeff Watola. Police narrative. Investigators asked Watola how long he believed the incident went on for, and he replied, "At least 30 minutes, maybe 45.
I felt like I was basically trapped in a building by a bunch of cops, basically.
The venue was well aware that the phone belonged to a federal DEA agent. Bar manager Lou Martinez, police narrative. Martinez stated that he learned the DJ Alves had picked up the cell and refused to return it to the men. Investigators asked Martinez who the cell phone belonged to, and he replied, "One of the DEA. They repeatedly refused to call the police for me and instead tried to retrieve the cell phone for the officers." Head bouncer Welch, police narrative. Welch stated that Alves again asked us to call the police. Welch stated that he told Alves that this isn't puffer bellies or cuddles and bubbles. I'm not calling the police.
Duane and his attorney met with the Barnstable Police Department. According to Duane's lawyer, the group responsible are officers or agents attending an annual narcotics law enforcement convention in Hyannis. Fox 25 has discovered the conference is for the New England Narcotics Enforcement Officers Association.
Again, while I was getting beat down on the ground, I retrieved a cell phone that was dropped by federal DEA agent John Daly. It was confirmed that it was his cell phone by Barnstable Patrolman Armando Feliciano. I met with the male that was missing the cell phone, and he was identified as John Daly. I observed Daly to be intoxicated with bloodshot and glassy eyes. I could also smell a strong odor of alcoholic beverage emanating from his person and breath. 2 months into the investigation, I was shown a photo lineup, and despite all the incriminating evidence against Mr. Daly, his picture was not included in that photo lineup. Then, 6 months into the investigation, there was a probable cause hearing, and John Daly was not listed as a suspect at the hearing. Instead, he was listed on the witness list. Daly had an attorney present to represent him at the hearing while he remained in his vehicle to avoid being identified. He was the last witness called. He took the stand, and his attorney said, "Yes, I think at this stage, Mr. Daly would be exercising his rights to not incriminate himself. There is a potential, as I read the police report, that he may be in jeopardy. At this point, we exercise his right not to testify." In March of 2013, I was finally able to sit John Daly down for a deposition. Question: what were you wearing that night? Do you remember? Answer: I believe I had a pair of shorts on, a gray shirt and sneakers. Question: what did the shorts look like? Answer: like cargo shorts maybe. Question: what did the shirt look like? Answer: like it was like a gray long sleeve shirt. Question: were the shorts solid, plaid, striped? Answer: they were striped, I believe. Question: and the sneakers? Answer: just regular sneakers. I think they were blue-gray something. Question: is it possible your shorts were plaid? Answer: it's possible. Hold on, let me repeat that. Alves recovers Daly's phone, gives it to the Barnstable Police Department, and says, "The owner of this phone is one of my attackers." Daly admits to the Barnstable Police Department that both himself and Borum were involved in the scrum with Alves. Daly was identified by 3 witnesses as one of Alves' attackers by what he was wearing, plaid shorts. 3 witnesses saw and or heard Daly being face-to-face with Alves and say, "It's on," and then attacked Alves. Haverhill police officer Matthew Woodman told the Barnstable police that Daly was face-to-face arguing with Alves just before the attack broke out. The Barnstable Police Department had all this evidence implicating Daly in Alves' attack from the very beginning of their investigation. They showed Alves a photo array. It did not include John Daly's photo for identification. They then ran a 6-month investigation that concluded with Daly coming to the probable cause hearing as a witness. He took the stand and pled the fifth, and to this day has never been charged with a crime. #investigate Barnstable.
Duane says he still has trouble seeing out of his right eye, and he's shaken up knowing those meant to protect and serve could be responsible.
Who protects us from them?
I've learned the answer to this question is nobody. After the trial was over and I realized what had happened, I wrote 2 letters to Barnstable Police Chief Paul McDonald asking him to charge Mr. Daly. After 2 letters and several phone calls, I never received a response back. I then wrote a letter to Barnstable District Attorney Michael O'Keefe asking him to charge Mr. Daly. I received a letter back from the District Attorney with his refusal to charge Mr. Daly. I then filed a personal application for assault and battery at the Barnstable District Courthouse against Mr. Daly. My application was flat out denied without even a probable cause hearing.
Now, Duane says one of the reasons the group of men were blocking all of the exits were to get a cell phone that he got while he was getting beat down on the ground.
John Daly formed an ad hoc police force to help retrieve his government-issued DEA cell phone, invoking several police officers to help him retrieve the phone. Barnstable police officer Armando Feliciano's narrative. Daly stated he just wanted to retrieve the phone and he would go on his way. Another male standing with Daly was identified as Matthew Woodman. He stated he was just trying to help retrieve the phone for Daly. The male was identified as Ariel Collazo. Collazo stated that he just wanted to help get the cell phone back for his friend. With all these drunk and out-of-control police officers trying to retrieve the phone for Daly, I repeatedly asked the venue to call the police for me. Taken from Patron Cook's police narrative, Cook then stated that Lou, manager, Taylor, the barback, and Welch, the head bouncer, came upstairs and were trying to get Alves to give back the cell phone. Cook stated that Alves would not give back the phone and repeatedly told the staff to call the police. Cook explained that Lou then told Alves, "We don't call the police. We never call the police." Cook believed that this incident had been going on for over a half hour. I refused to give the phone back. It was the only evidence I had of one of my attackers. Let me repeat that because it's a significant fact. I refused to give the cell phone back because it was the only evidence that I had to identify one of my attackers.
He says one of the men responsible dropped the cell phone, he held it in his possession, and that's what they may have been after, and that's why they were blocking all of the exits. Well, that cell phone has been turned over to the Barnstable Police Department. We're live in Barnstable. I'm Jared Holbrook, Fox 25 News.
This happened in May. Let's see, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months later, there's a hearing in front of a clerk magistrate? Are you trying to tell me that if I was at a sports bar and 3 guys didn't like me, came up and started kicking the heck out of me, punching me in the face, and we have an altercation, that we wouldn't have an adjudication before a clerk magistrate before 6 months were up? So I'm just asking, is this normal, or is this because the alleged attackers were cops? If you're a cop, you'd treat it differently than if you are a civilian. Sure sounds to me like a, do you know who I am? Keep your mouth shut. I'm a cop.
Police officers and district attorneys, almost by law, have no accountability for their actions. And when you try to hold them accountable, the authorities go out of their way to protect them. Please tell me that this is not what justice looks like in America. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., never, never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our soul when we look the other way. So please, share this with everyone you know and repost it, and follow the link in the description of this video and sign my petition asking Attorney General Maura Healey to #investigate Barnstable.